I covered the expenses for my brother and his wife's honeymoon and paid 6 months of their rent, yet they didn't invite me to the celebration for their newborn. His wife bluntly said, "She doesn't want to see you. Goodbye." I was furious, and I should have anticipated this. Jason was never the type to prioritize me, but I never imagined he'd go this far, especially after everything I'd done for him. It began when he married Linda. They were struggling financially, barely affording a modest wedding. A honeymoon was impossible. He never directly asked, but dropped hints, waiting for me to offer. So I did. I funded their entire honeymoon, no strings attached, no expectation of repayment, just a gesture to make my younger brother happy. Then came the rent issue. Linda was pregnant, and living with her parents was unbearable. She wanted independence, privacy, stability. But Jason's income wasn't enough, and Linda wasn't working. One night, he called me, voice slurred, mentioning a big move and needing transitional help. The implication was clear. I paid their rent for 6 months. I didn't tell anyone, not our parents, not even my partner. I didn't seek praise. I just wanted Jason to be okay. Then, my mom texted me, excitedly discussing decorations and games for a family baby shower. It was the first I'd heard of it. I checked my messages. Nothing from Jason or Linda. Maybe an oversight? I texted him, "Hey, when's the baby shower? I didn't get an invite." His reply was instant, as if he'd been waiting. "Actually, my wife doesn't want to see you. Bye." No explanation, no hesitation, just cold dismissal, as if I hadn't kept them afloat, as if I hadn't secured the apartment Linda wanted while Jason played house. I called, straight to voicemail. Again, same. I sat there, stunned, until it hit me. I checked Jason's Facebook, a post from Linda, a rant about selfish family members who refuse to step up, praising Jason for working tirelessly while others waste money. The irony was staggering. I was the reason they weren't bankrupt, the reason they had their own place, yet she painted me as a deadbeat. Her friends piled on. "Some people don't understand family. You're better off without them." One even jabbed, "Bet it's Jason's brother. What a loser." I turned off my phone, not angry, not hurt, just done. But Jason and Linda weren't. They called repeatedly. By the 4th attempt, I answered out of curiosity. No small talk, just demands. They needed money again. Linda had quit her job. The baby was here. Rent was overdue. He sounded desperate, as if the walls were closing in. I let him talk, waiting for any acknowledgement of their betrayal. Nothing, no apology, just entitlement. I said no. He laughed, as if I were joking. "It's not much for you, just a few months' rent, like last time." I reminded him, last time was also supposed to be temporary. His tone shifted, irritated, then venomous. "You're selfish. You're lucky. Linda thinks you're a bad influence." I snapped, "Does she hate my money too?" Silence. Then, begging, "I'll pay you back." I hung up. Hours later, my mom called, feigning casualness. "Come for dinner?" I declined. She sighed. "Jason told me everything." I almost laughed. "Everything?" She parroted his lies. I was bitter, holding a grudge, refusing to help over petty drama. I asked if Jason mentioned the 6 months' rent. Silence. Then a weak, "What?" As I detailed their hypocrisy, a notification popped up. "Jason, you're turning mom against me? You're a selfish POS." I laughed harder. For the first time, I saw the truth. Jason never saw me as family, just a wallet. The next morning, my dad texted, "Call me." I knew the script. Jason's victim act, Linda's theatrics. Dad cut to the chase. "What's going on with you two?" I laid it all out. The honeymoon, the rent, the Facebook post, the baby shower snub. Dad's response? "Your mom's upset." Not, "Jason's wrong," just, "Mom's upset." I asked if he was upset. A pause. "I don't get why you won't help your brother." I laughed. "Did Jason mention the 6 months' rent?" Silence. Then, "You know how Jason is. He hates asking for help." The delusion was breathtaking. Jason always asked for help. His life was a cycle of bad choices and bailouts. I told Dad I wouldn't fund their lives anymore. His retort, "One day, you'll need family. Hope Jason doesn't abandon you like you're abandoning him." That's when I understood. My parents enabled Jason forever. I was done. Then Linda showed up at my apartment, uninvited, unannounced. "We need to talk." I walked past her. She grabbed my arm. "We're losing the apartment. Just help us a little longer. No remorse, just need." I asked if they'd appreciated me while trashing me online. She pivoted. "Family sticks together," I countered. "Like Jason did for me?" Her mask slipped. "Fine, keep your money. Die alone." 3 days later, my landlord called. Someone impersonated me, trying to break my lease. "Linda's doing." I confronted Jason. No answer. Texted, "Nice try. Stay out of my life." Then Mom appeared at my job. Jason and Linda moved in with us. "The baby needs stability. Help." I refused. Not my problem. That night, my bank account was frozen. Fraud alert. Someone had tried to reset my password. Jason's mistake? He couldn't answer the security question. "What was your last large purchase?" The bank blocked him. I stormed to my parents' house. Jason stammered denials until I threatened to involve the bank's fraud team. He cracked, "I was going to pay it back." Linda hissed, "You're overreacting." Dad finally saw the truth. I left, cutting ties for good. A week later, Mom texted, "Jason and Linda are gone. We're done helping them." I didn't reply. For months after that night, I heard nothing from Jason, Linda, or my parents. The silence was a relief. No more guilt trips, no more demands. I focused on my work, my own life, and the peace that came with boundaries. But as I'd learned, Jason and Linda weren't ones to fade away quietly. One evening, as I scrolled through social media, a mutual friend's post caught my eye. A fundraiser titled, "Help a Young Family in Crisis." The photo showed Jason and Linda, their baby in her arms, standing in front of a dingy apartment building. The caption detailed their struggle after unexpected hardships and family betrayal. My jaw clenched. The comments were flooded with sympathy. People can be so cruel. No one deserves this. And, my favorite, family should always come first. I clicked on the fundraiser page. Their goal was $20,000 for back rent, medical bills, and a fresh start. The irony was suffocating. I screenshot the page and sent it to my dad with one line. "Still think I'm the selfish one?" He didn't reply. A week later, my cousin Mia called. "Did you see Jason's interview?" she asked. "Interview?" I hadn't. She sent a link to a local news segment. Local couple shares story of resilience after being abandoned by family. There they were, on camera, painting me as the villain. Linda tearfully claimed I'd cut them off over a petty disagreement, while Jason shook his head saying, "Some people value money over blood." The reporter didn't ask questions, just nodded along. I was livid but refused to engage. Then the emails started. Strangers moved by the heartbreaking story sent me angry messages. "How could you? That baby is innocent." One even threatened to expose me online. I blocked them all, but the harassment grew. Someone posted my workplace's address in the fundraiser comments, urging people to let him know how heartless he is. I called my parents, demanding they set the record straight. Mom answered, her voice weary. "They're just trying to survive," she said. "You could end this by helping." I hung up. Their denial was incurable. The final straw came when my boss pulled me aside. "We've had complaints," he said, sliding a printout of an email across his desk. It accused me of financial abuse and elder neglect for not supporting my parents, who, ironically, were fine. The email was anonymous, but the writing style screamed Linda. "I don't want drama here," my boss warned. "Handle it." I did. I lawyered up. My attorney sent cease and desist letters to Jason, Linda, and the news station. The fundraiser vanished overnight. The station retracted the segment with a vague content review. The email stopped, then a voicemail from Jason. "You win. We're done." No apology, just surrender. A year later, Mia told me they'd moved out of state, relying on Linda's distant relatives. Mom and Dad never mentioned them again. I still don't know if they ever realized the cost of their greed. But I learned mine. Some families are bonds, others are leashes. Years passed, the dust settled. I rebuilt my life, stronger, wiser, and with ironclad boundaries. My career thrived, my friendships deepened, and I even found love with someone who valued me for me, not my wallet. But life has a way of circling back. One rainy afternoon, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Edward?" A hoarse voice. "Jason." My grip tightened on the phone. "What do you want?" Silence, then a shaky breath. I'm sick." A part of me wanted to hang up. Another part, the one that remembered us as kids, paused. "What kind of sick?" "Cancer, stage 3. His words were quiet, stripped of the old arrogance. "Linda left, took the kid. I've got nothing." I closed my eyes. This was the moment I'd fantasized about. His comeuppance, his humility. But the victory tasted bitter. "Why call me?" "Because you were right." A cough. "About everything. I was a leech, a liar. And now..." His voice broke. "I'm alone." I could have said, "I told you so." Could have laughed. Instead, I surprised myself. What hospital? The room smelled like antiseptic and regret. Jason looked decades older, gaunt under thin sheets. His eyes widened when I walked in. "You came." "Not for you," I said, setting down a bag of groceries. "For me, to close this chapter." He nodded, tears welling. "I'm sorry for all of it." I believed him, but some wounds scar too deep. "I'll cover your medical bills one last time, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." He sobbed. "Thank you." I turned to leave. "Goodbye, Jason." At his funeral 6 months later, I stood at the back. Linda wasn't there. Neither were my parents. They'd passed the year before, their obituaries brief and unremarkable. A nurse handed me a folded note from Jason's belongings. "Tell Edward I kept every receipt. He'll know what it means." I did. The boy I'd once bought ice cream for, the brother who'd promised to pay me back when I'm rich, had finally kept his word. I burned the note in the parking lot, the ashes scattered like the family we'd never been. A message to you, our viewer. This story was about family, betrayal, and healing. If it moved you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our powerful stories. Your support helps us share more real-life dramas like this one. Drop a comment below. What would you have done in my place? Could you forgive? Let's discuss.